My name is Christine and I'm one of the coaches here at Wealth Enhancers. Many of you will be taking the time this year at the moment to have a think about how you went this year and what you could have done better. I want to share with you my own personal reflections from earlier this month, what I learned and how I could have done things better so you can apply these to your own learnings. If you have any questions for me, please add a comment and I'll be answering them after this session. Okay, so let's be real. When you ask yourself, am I where I want to be? Did I do the things that I want to do this year? How did I go with my goals and why? When I asked myself this question earlier this month, I was also in the process of setting up my MoneySoft account, which a lot of our members are currently doing at the moment. MoneySoft is a great tool because at any point in time, I can see what my expenses are in relation to my budget. I can also see my financial position, and you can also see your goals as well and how you're clearly going with your goals. What became apparent with me is that there was one particular goal that my partner Scott and I are very attached to, and I had no money going to that goal at all. At the same time, what I also did was I started going through my receipts and started to think, okay, well, how much have I actually spent this year and how much money did I waste? And I started going through all these receipts and I realized that, wow, I had spent money on things that I actually don't even use now. I remember earlier this year, I had bought something from J. Crew and I bought a few t-shirts, white, grey, black. Who doesn't wear those, that color? I mean, I'm wearing a grey t-shirt now. And I bought a couple of skirts and I thought, you know what, I'll wear them for work as well. Well, now it's the end of the year and I still have some of the t-shirts in my wardrobe with the tags on them. And unfortunately, I don't wear the skirts anymore. I still love them, but I just end up wearing similar things. And it was quite overwhelming. But the important thing is that you be honest with yourself when you make these reflections. And I was very honest with myself. And it's also very easy to blame, your income or your circumstances for where you are. I'm not earning enough income, or, oh man, my rent's too high, or the cost of living is just too high. And I just live in Sydney and Melbourne, and it's really expensive to live in these cities. But really, it's easy to blame those things. But when you ask yourself, what could I have done? Often there are other things. And for me, I realized that, well, it was my spending on things that I didn't need. When I started to think about these things, it did become very overwhelming for me and I let it bottle up inside myself. What I should have done is that I should have sat down and write it all down in a journal and let it blurt all out. Because when you leave it in your head, it can become quite overwhelming. It can manifest into a much bigger problem than it actually is. And so journaling it all down and putting it out there and putting your emotions down on paper would have been a better step for myself than just leaving it all in my head. As part of doing the journaling process, you also start to realize, well, you know what, I can't be too hard on myself. And it's also important to remember the things that you have achieved this year as well. It's so easy to get caught up in the negativity and let these problems manifest into bigger problems. But when you think about, well, hang on, okay, you know what, I've realized that I've made a mistake, and it's such an important step that you realize. But then you also ask yourself, well, what have I done right this year? And give yourself a pat on the back for the things that you've done right, but also for getting to that point where you've made a realization that, you know what, I'm not where I am with my goals, and I could have done better because I could have done X, Y, and Z. So for myself, this is not what I did. I didn't do this at all, and I let it stay in my head. And for a whole week, I just kept thinking about it, and I kept stressing about it, and it really did upset me. And I remember I was having a conversation with Scott, and we were having a conversation about something completely different. And then I just got so emotional and upset because I had linked, the goals and the spending with that particular problem, and it all came out. And I was a horrible mess. I even snorted when I cried, which is not where you want to be, because you want to get to, you want to address the problem well before that point. Once you have journaled, once you have, you know, put all your feelings down into paper, thought about, well, what have I done right? Giving yourself a pat on the back for making the realization, it's time to accept it and move on from there, because we know we can't change the past, but what we can do is ensure that we have measures in place so that we can move on from here, but also move down on the right path as well. And the final part is make a commitment. Make a commitment to yourself that you're going to change this and that you're going to do things better. And so personally, what I'm going to do is I've committed to myself to not spend on any more clothing. I've also said, okay, I'm going to go through all my existing clothing, I'm going to give away what I don't need and what I don't use, and I'm going to aim to reduce my wardrobe down to about 50 items. And then from there, if I need or I want something new, then I also have to give up the equivalent item. So if I want a new bag, I've got to give up the bag or sell the bag. And so that's what I'm going to do. So you need to ask yourself, how am I going to change this? What am I going to do? And the important thing is that you share it with people. Share it with your closest friends, share it with your boyfriend or girlfriend. For myself, I shared it with my colleagues and Scott as well. And you'll be surprised at how much support you get, because those people that are closest to you want to see you to succeed. And by telling someone, you're also more likely to do it as well. So if you have any questions for me, please do leave a comment. Don't forget, we're also holding financial kickstart sessions. It's an hour long with a financial coach. Just go to our website and you can book in a session through there. Our January calendar is already filling up fast, so don't wait. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.